Is it true that we're going to give $450,000 to border crossers who are separated?
So that was as close as we got. President Biden ignoring a question from Peter Doocy in Rome about a report that the administration may give six-figure payouts to illegal immigrants. The payments would settle lawsuits over the Trump administration separating them from their families back 3 years ago. New York Republican Congresswoman, chair of the House Republican Conference, Elise Stefanik, is my guest now. And thank you for your time and thank you for being here this morning. Intriguing story, really got the attention of a lot of people. What can you add on this possibility? Will the administration go forward with it?
Well, first of all, this should outrage every American. I think about the hardworking families in my district, Bill. The average median income in New York's North Country is about $40,000 to $45,000 for a household. This administration, President Biden, is considering giving 10 times that, $450,000 for people who broke the law, illegal immigrants who came to this country and did not abide by the rule of law. This is at the same time as we are facing a historic border crisis with the highest number of illegal crossings ever in the month of September. So this would just exacerbate the already crisis that we're seeing on the southern border. And frankly, we are a country that's based upon the rule of law. So this is telling every American that you're going to be awarded for breaking the law, whereas those that abide by the law are at a disadvantage. So it should outrage every American. And certainly House Republicans will oppose this. We've already spoken out in opposition, but we will do everything we can to stop this.
Okay, so Kevin McCarthy, your boss tweets yet another way President Biden's putting America last. Lawyers in his own administration admit payouts to illegals could be more than the families of the fallen from 9/11 received. Disgraceful is how he ends it. They're arguing this is the quickest legal resolution. Is it?
Well, no, certainly. First of all, Kevin McCarthy is not my boss. My boss are the people of New York's 21st
Understood.
Congressional District. I love working with Kevin. We're a team, but my boss are always my constituents. When it comes to the legal putting this to rest, look, it is clear the individuals that crossed the border illegally broke the law. They should not be awarded the $450,000. Kevin makes a really important point that we should not be awarding these individuals more than gold-starred families receive. And again, I put it in context of the income levels of hardworking families in my district. It just is not the direction we need to move in this country, and it's going to further exacerbate this border crisis on the southern border.
Okay, 2 minutes. I have two more topics. Joe Biden yesterday in Rome was talking about passing both of his bills. Here's what he said about that, getting it done.
I didn't run to determine how well I'm going to do in the polls. I ran to make sure that I followed through on what I said I would do as President of the United States. I believe we will pass my Build Back Better plan, and I believe we will pass the infrastructure bill.
You have an ear to the ground up there. 96 progressives are hanging tough right now. Will they both pass?
Well, certainly they don't have the votes today. And Bill, as I've experienced, I'm in my fourth term in the House. The devil is always in the details. And there's a lot of details they have to work out. What it's important for the American people to know is that the legislation Democrats are considering is the largest tax increase in our nation's history and the largest spending package in our nation's history. It is also riddled with far-left socialist policies like mass amnesty, elimination of the bipartisan Hyde protections, ensuring taxpayer dollars don't go to fund abortions, and there's policy after policy that as the American people learn more about it, they don't support. What's interesting is the Democrats are being controlled by their far-left progressive socialist members. This is not your grandfather's Democratic Party. They are having to appease the left, and I always think it's important that American people know that we're talking about thousands and thousands of legislative pages. If Democrats force this to the floor in quick action, their members will not have had the opportunity to read it. So we will have the same experience we had when they passed Obamacare, when they didn't read the legislation. This is bad for America. Democrats don't have the votes, but the American people need to speak up and call their representative to say, vote no.
Meanwhile, in New York City, here's the New York Post cover today. It says minutes from tragedy. The headline's this: New York City vaccine mandate will force 24,000 city workers to stay home effectively today. How's that going to work?
It's not going to work. New York has already faced a crime crisis this past year. And when we think about those frontline workers, the first responders who put their lives and health on the line serving New Yorkers during the COVID pandemic, now to penalize them when we already have a labor shortage and historic numbers of retirement. There was news about the number of fire departments that are not able to respond in the same timely fashion than they typically would be. Certain fire department companies are closing in New York City. The vaccine mandates are unconstitutional. And again, it's exacerbating an already tenuous situation as we face a labor shortage with first responders and law enforcement officers across the country. So it makes New York less safe.
Well, we're stepping into a new area here. 8,000 NYPD, 3,700 fire department, 2,000 sanitation workers. We'll see how the city manages here. Elise Stefanik, thank you so much for your time. And give Kevin McCarthy my best. I will not suggest that in the future. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Bill.
You bet.